All right, let's dive right in. Number 10, the Skin Excavator. You know that friend who's always biting their nails? Or maybe you've caught yourself picking at that scab for the 10th time today? These aren't just bad habits. They might be your brain's way of screaming for help. This is excoriation disorder, or compulsive skin picking. It's like having an itch you can't ignore, providing temporary relief, but leading to scars and infections. It's a body-focused repetitive behavior, or BFRB, and it affects millions of people. For some, it goes way beyond a nervous habit. They pick at their skin for hours, creating wounds that turn into scars. Most people doing these behaviors aren't fully aware they're doing it. It's like their hands have a mind of their own. The brain sends out this intense signal and the hands obey, even when the person doesn't want them to. During the act, there's a strange sense of satisfaction, but afterward there is only shame, guilt, and physical pain. This behavior is often linked to anxiety or perfectionism, and it's the brain's twisted way of trying to cope with a world that feels too stressful. Number 9. The ritual ruler. You know that person who has to check the lock a dozen times before they leave? Or maybe you've caught yourself arranging the items on your desk in a certain way every single morning. We might call them a perfectionist, but for some people these aren't just preferences. They're urgent, screaming demands from their brain that feel impossible to ignore. This is the hidden world of OCD compulsions. This isn't about being neat or organized. It's about feeling like something catastrophic will happen if you don't perform specific actions. The ritual becomes the brain's desperate attempt to shut down that terror. It's like having an invisible electric fence around you. Cross it, or break the rules and your internal alarm system goes haywire. For the person doing them, these rituals feel absolutely necessary. They wash their hands every time they touch something, not because they're actually dirty, but to wash away a bad thought. They're trapped in a loop, and the relief they get from the ritual is fleeting. This isn't a choice. It's the brain's alarm system misfiring, desperately trying to regain control in a world that suddenly feels terrifyingly unsafe. Number 8. The shadow chaser. Ever felt like someone's always out to get you, or that your friends are secretly plotting against you? You might see this as just being cautious or street smart, but this deep-seated, unfounded suspicion can be a sign of paranoid personality disorder. It's like having a personal bodyguard in your brain who sees every person as a threat and every kind gesture as a lie. This isn't just a healthy dose of skepticism. It's a crippling fear that makes it almost impossible to trust anyone. Your brain is convinced that people are out to harm you even when there's no evidence. This makes you hesitant to confide in others, worried they'll use your secrets against you. An innocent comment feels like a personal attack. And every time someone does something that you think is wrong, you hold a grudge because your brain tells you that you are right to be angry. It's a habit of a brain stuck in a state of hypervigilance, constantly scanning the world for threats that don't exist. This isn't a personality quirk. It's a mental health condition that turns the normal world into a battlefield, and it's a devastating way to live. Number 7. The emotional brick wall. Ever met someone who seems completely unfazed by everything? You tell them you got a new job and they just say, okay. You share a story about a horrible car accident and they don't even flinch. We might see this as strength, as a sign of being cool and calm under pressure. But this emotional flatlining has a name: emotional blunting. It's a key sign of several mental health conditions like severe depression or PTSD. It's when your brain's emotional response system is broken. You know you should feel something, but there's a disconnect. It's like your brain has a volume knob for feelings and it's been turned all the way down. This can feel like you've got it all together, like you're not the type to get worked up or overreact. But there's a difference between being calm and being numb. People with this pattern don't just handle a bad day, they're unable to feel joy, sadness, or fear. They might seem cold or uncaring, but they're often in a state of deep distress themselves, unable to connect with their own feelings, let alone anyone else's. The brain's fear center, the amygdala, is either overregulated or shut down. So when a disaster strikes, they're not resilient, they're just not processing it. Number 6. The emotional void. Ever known someone who seems completely immune to criticism or rejection? A boss gives them harsh feedback and they simply don't care. You might think they have powerful self-esteem or an incredible sense of self-worth, but this emotional void has a name: alexithymia. It's when a person has a hard time identifying and describing their own emotions. They don't have a panic button because their emotional circuitry is so disconnected that they don't even register that an emotional response is needed. It's not just a lack of empathy, it's a lack of self-awareness. Someone with alexithymia might seem incredibly tough or independent. They don't worry about what others think because they don't have the emotional language to process it. They might even seem like a leader, but their inability to connect emotionally can destroy relationships and make them come across as cold or uncaring. They might avoid intimate conversations or new experiences because they don't understand the emotional stakes. The strangest part is they don't realize anything is wrong. They think their emotional disconnect is normal, but their brain is simply unable to process the feedback and emotions that most people rely on to form relationships and connect with others. Number 5. The trapped collector. You've seen them on TV shows, the person whose house is packed with piles of junk, old newspapers, and things that look like they belong in the garbage. We call them hoarders, and we might think it's just a bizarre personality quirk. But these aren't just bad habits. This is hoarding disorder, and it's a terrifying mental health condition. This isn't about being messy or a sentimental collector. It's about a crippling inability to let go of items due to an intense, irrational fear. For the person with hoarding disorder, throwing away a rusty nail or a ripped magazine feels like they're ripping out a part of themselves. Their brain attaches an intense emotional value to every single object, and the thought of getting rid of it creates unbearable anxiety. From the outside, it looks like a person collecting trash, but from the inside, they're trapped by their own rituals. Every object they keep is a failed attempt to soothe their anxiety. The brain is desperately trying to regain control over a world that feels terrifyingly unsafe, and it does so by creating a fortress of their own junk. This isn't a choice, it's a deep-seated mental health issue. Number 4. The compulsive liar. We all know someone who tells tall tales. They always have the craziest stories, and you're pretty sure none of them are true. We might dismiss it as them being an attention seeker or having a vivid imagination. But this bizarre behavior is actually a sign of pathological lying. This isn't just a white lie to save face. This is a compulsive, ingrained behavior. The person isn't just lying to get something. The act of lying itself is the reward. The brain gets a little hit of dopamine every time it creates a false reality and someone believes it. People who are pathological liars might believe their own lies, or they might be fully aware of the deception. The truly maddening part is the more they lie, the more they have to keep lying to cover their tracks. They get caught in a web of their own creation, and they're unable to stop. This behavior is often linked to deep-seated mental health conditions like antisocial personality disorder, where the person lacks empathy and remorse for their actions. They're not just trying to fool you, they're trying to fool themselves. It's a bizarre behavior that is a clear sign that something is deeply wrong. Number 3. The Perpetual Party. Ever known someone who is constantly on? They're always the life of the party. They talk a mile a minute. They have grand, impossible ideas, and they seem to have boundless energy. You might think they're a creative genius or super extrovert, but this is hypomania, and it's a core symptom of bipolar disorder. While everyone else is struggling with the mundane, their brain is in overdrive, making them feel invincible, their joy circuit stuck on high. This isn't just being in a good mood, it's an elevated mood that can lead to reckless behavior, like spending thousands of dollars they don't have or making impulsive decisions that destroy their relationships. The person might feel on top of the world, but they're completely disconnected from reality. This isn't a personality quirk. It's a sign that their brain's mood regulation system is broken, setting them up for a devastating crash in the future. Number 2. The Unapproachable One. You know that person who avoids social gatherings? Or the one who sits in a corner at a party and seems to be judging everyone? You might think they're an introvert or just antisocial, but this can be a sign of avoidant personality disorder, a mental health condition that is often mistaken for just being shy. The person isn't avoiding you because they don't like you. They're avoiding you because they are terrified of being judged or rejected. The fear of criticism or embarrassment is so powerful for them that they'd rather be alone than risk being hurt. They may desperately want to be close to others, but the anxiety is too overwhelming. They're not just being picky, their brains are trapped in a constant state of fear. So, they build a wall around themselves to protect their fragile self-esteem. They're not choosing to be alone, they're trapped by their own anxiety. Number 1. The Human Cannonball. You quit your job without a backup plan. You book a one-way flight to a new country without a second thought. You buy something you can't afford. You might think you're just spontaneous and proactively living the "you only live once" philosophy. But this bizarre behavior can be a sign of an underlying mental health condition. This is impulse control disorder, a condition where your brain's impulse regulation is broken. You're not being spontaneous, you're acting without thinking. Your brain's fear response is so messed up that it stops responding to risk. You feel the impulse and act on it immediately without considering the consequences. This isn't just a personality quirk. It's a sign that your brain's stop button is broken. So, if you find yourself making life-altering decisions without a moment's thought, it might be your brain sounding a clear alarm that something deeper needs attention. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to see more.